Update 6 set to drop February 14th. That's this Thursday. We're going to be going over the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, the beautiful and the ugly. Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Mitchell Phillips here. Welcome back to another video on Forza Horizon 4. We're going to be starting off with the pros. There's going to be a lot of overlap here, but there's a lot I really want to discuss with you guys coming in this update. So the Ken Block suit, helmet, and hat, I'm definitely really excited about. I think that's awesome, and I enjoyed the driver gear that we've gotten access to previously as well. But clothing in general as a broader topic has been a little bit controversial, has had some polarization. I would say more people seem to be on the side of being annoyed with clothing, and I think there's a good way where they could smooth it over and make people a little bit more tolerant of the feature, because I do think there's some really good aspects to being able to customize your characters. Although the characters are so generic, it takes away from that a little bit. Nonetheless, I probably have 10 skirts waiting for me at home. 10 pairs of female leggings, floral little boots and high heels, and you name it, I got it. Now, me personally, I'm a straight male, and I would love the option to choose male clothing only. If you are gay and like to dress like the opposite sex, or if you're a woman and you want female clothing, you should also have the choice to choose only the clothing you want. Gender specific clothing, that would cut out half of the clothes, so there would be a lot less clothes in the wheel spins. I would hope anyways they would do it like that, and that might make the clothing a little bit more tolerable, and at least when you do get clothing, you're getting something that you potentially might actually wear. Right now, every time I get a female piece of clothing, it is completely useless. It is a complete waste of time, and I wish I could just turn off the female clothes. Now, this has a lot of overlap. Street races are going to be incorporated into seasonal championships. Overall, I'm excited about that. I don't do street races too much, so I am unfamiliar with the tracks, which makes the idea of those seasonal championships a little bit more exciting for me. But I do like street races, so you might be wondering why I barely do them and I'm unfamiliar with the track. Or you might not, which might even be the more realistic answer, and that's because when I try to do them with my friends or with the open lobby with you guys, you cannot select a class restriction. In Forza Horizon 3 they did it way better. You were able to set it to S1, A class, S2, whatever you wanted. Now I find I drive up with an A class car, because you actually have to be in the car you're going to drive before you select the event, or else you're screwed. So go in with the car you want to drive. Let's say I'm in an A class BRZ, I go in and they allow people in my lobby to run an X class Senna against me, or maybe just an S1 or an S2 car, but nonetheless, it's not fair in the slightest, and I have no control on my hands of fixing it, something that I would love to see them fix and address. But nonetheless, seasonal championships will most likely have a strict PI restriction, so it'll get rid of that issue, and I'm excited to take part in those. The Skill Streak Horizon story. So yes, we're getting a new Horizon story where essentially you're building up some mad skill streaks and trying to get to the desired destination before the time runs out. Some overlap here as well. Now, the Horizon stories are good, they're fun, but I don't play them or look at them like stories. They're more like little challenges that you get rewards for completing. A story to me needs to have some sort of emotional engagement. It needs to feel like a story, and I know that would be extra work on their part, but I would love it if we could get even half the amount of stories with more depth and with more emotional connection involved. If you guys have played games with campaigns and games without campaigns, the biggest thing about games with campaigns is you finish the campaign, and if it was a good campaign or a decent campaign, it really makes you enjoy the rest of the game that much more. You have an emotional connection to the game, and it really enhances the experience in all the other features in that game. Now, of course, Forza Horizon cannot do a full-on campaign, and I'm not expecting them to, but a little bit more emotional connection would be nice, and I think would enhance the overall game if they could do it well. And just a brief thought was, if they could somehow implement, this might have to be for Forza Horizon 5, but let me know what you guys think about this. If they could implement a Forza Horizon story, and then at the end they have a related showcase event to that story, almost like you would have a boss fight in some other generic ass game. If you had your showcase event take place at the end, that would be something memorable, something that you built up to, and I feel like that would be a really cool way to do exactly what I was saying, giving you that emotional connection to the story. Now, some fixes are coming as well. Usually there's a bunch that they don't necessarily touch in the live stream, but the ones that they did touch in the live stream are the following. Horizon stories are now going to show you what you need for specific star ratings. So if you just start out, it's going to tell you what you need for 1 star. If I'm saying this correctly, I hope I am. You hit 1 star, then it'll tell you what you need for 2 stars. You hit that, it will tell you what you finally need to get 3 stars, instead of doing the event blind, hoping you have got enough skill points or made enough time to get 3 stars and not knowing until you finish. Now, audio stutter has been fixed as well, and aggressive force feedback issues, which I got a little bit of a kick out of, because they actually kind of made it seem like these force feedback issues were really dangerous and people were at risk of getting hurt. I don't know how you mess up force feedback that much, because I have a wheel and I've never feared for my safety, but nonetheless, I'm glad they fixed it, especially if for some reason people were actually at risk of injury because of how bad it was messed up. But there is some overlap. There's been one specific issue that they have not even addressed. They have addressed specific things around servers and connectivity, but they haven't addressed the issues with convoys. Now, I'm someone who I run open lobbies almost daily, and when I have you guys in with me in my convoy, oh my goodness, it is a pain in the ass. People can't get in. People are getting kicked out after every single event. Sometimes we can't start events. We try 3-4 times. We have to go into a private team adventure, run an event, come out, and then it'll reset our lobby, and then maybe we can actually get into the event we wanted to do to begin with. So that is a really big pain. And also, private team adventures should actually give you rewards. They don't give you any rewards. You could do a 50-lap Goliath and get no credits for it. It's ridiculous. That should be fixed as well. To end off, the only con, it does have a little bit of positive overlap because we got some cars that I enjoyed, but the only con is Car Pass. Our final Car Pass cars have came with update 6, and I am overall disappointed with Car Pass, and I've definitely been getting the vibe from a lot of people. I just saw on Jake XVX's channel, he's disappointed with Car Pass, and a lot of people in my community personally have been pretty vocal, and some people even outraged about their disappointment for Car Pass. Let me explain. So we had a Forza forum post that's still up today actually, and I made a video on it well before the game dropped, about all the most requested cars that we want in Forza Horizon 4. A decent amount of which we've got, maybe 40% of which we've got, but there's still that 60%, a bunch of cars that the community is highly requesting that have not been given to us. Now, for Car Pass owners, these are people who know there's going to be DLC cars. They purchase Car Pass because they want the DLC cars, and they're likely people who overlap with the desires of this community. For example, cars that we haven't got that I think most of us watching this would love to have: the DeLorean, the 675 LT, the 488 Pista, the Huracan Performante, the Ferrari Portofino, the Apollo IE, and Jensen Interceptor, just to say a very few. But instead, just in the last Car Pass, I believe we got the Hillman Imp, the Cadet, and the original Ford Transit van all of which go to 0 to 60 in about 30 seconds, and I'm not even exaggerating. Now, it's not that they're terrible cars. In fact, I actually had a lot of fun with the Hillman Imp in specific, but when you say, you know, would you prefer an Huracan Performante or a Hillman Imp? I mean, that's just a night and day difference, and people who actually spent the money for Car Pass, I feel like they were just let down a little bit. Me personally, I have Ultimate Edition, but I am a little bit upset for the community, for people who only purchased Car Pass hoping to get their hands on cars like the Huracan Performante. I mean, most of us went into this game expecting to at some point get our hands on that Huracan Performante. It was at one point the fastest production car in the world around the Nürburgring, and it is just a beautiful Lamborghini. People who play video games love Lamborghinis, you know. We all wanted to get our hands on this car, and it sucks that some people, especially, you know, kids who can't necessarily buy Ultimate Edition, aren't going to be able to drive it at all, possibly, because I would suspect it's going to be dropped with a coming expansion. So that's unfortunate. Let me know what you guys think about the Car Pass. Were you guys happy with it? I have came across some people who love the Car Pass and love that they didn't include a lot of top tier cars like the Ferrari Portofino 675 LT, etc. And I do see that. I do understand people enjoying the more affordable cars. I do enjoy them as well myself, but some of these top tier cars just, I feel like, have to be in the game almost, and I was overall disappointed. Let me know what you guys think. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Remember, your pain is your strength. Take it easy. I'm out.